When we met almost 20 years ago, you knew nothing about sports.
Nothing.
You had played in your
Played in my marching band,
in
the
high
clarinet.
school.
The closest I ever
That's
came
as
to
close you
being
got to a football game, right?
Never been to a football game. Went to one baseball game in my life. Never went to an NBA game.
Okay. And now you are forced to eat, sleep, and breathe sports to the point that you actually, just to survive psychologically,
Yeah.
you wrote a book about
I
this.
did. I wrote a book called Balls: How to Keep Your Relationship Alive When You Live with a Sports Obsessed Guy.
Aha, this guy. I don't watch that much
No,
sports.
you do. And I now probably know more about sports than most guys on the street. Not because I
will-
try to, but
I will basically attest to that.
Oh, you
And
always attest to that.
No creature on earth watches more sports than this one right here because
yeah.
she sits with
Yeah.
me, she lies with me, she
that
sleeps
is true.
beside
But it's a
me.
forced thing.
Yeah.
She doesn't choose to do that.
Okay, we'll get to that in just a second.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's tell sort of the ultimate Skip versus Ernestine clash story,
Okay.
which happened 2 weekends ago, but it actually started 2 months ago.
Yeah.
When, just so you get this, there's a center out here not far from us. We're in Los Angeles on the west side of LA. It's a center for troubled kids that serves as both a home and a school
Yeah.
grounds for them.
Great organization.
And I have donated to this organization for all 8 years that we have been out here in LA, in part, I must admit, because they do have a gym that I use. If
Basketball
you saw the
court.
tape of me, she shot
Yeah.
the video of me making 3-point shots in response to Cam Newton. But they give an annual fundraiser out here that we're always invited to,
Yeah.
and they have a musical act or guest. And each year they ask us to come, and I'd never really thought about it until I mentioned 2 months ago, oh, wait, they have Jackson Brown. Now, you may not know Jackson Brown, but I knew she is obsessed with Jackson Brown.
Jackson Brown. Jackson Brown. There
This
are
is
a
a
few,
singer from the 70s.
but he's known throughout all
And
decades.
the God's truth is he was a heartthrob in the 70s,
Yeah.
and I think it's more like she just thinks he's
Well,
hot.
I love him. I think he's hot, and I love his music. And so when Skip said, "Hey, do you want to go?" I
Jackson
said,
Brown?
"Are you kidding me? Yeah, I'll do anything to see Jackson Brown."
Okay,
And
so
there we go.
I actually did a good husband thing for
Yeah.
maybe the first time in all the years we've been together.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I just said, hey, on that given night, which was 2 months in advance,
Yeah.
I said, I'm not even going to look at the schedule.
Right.
I don't care what college football games are being played that night, and I live for college football as well as
Yes.
pro, as she
I know.
unfortunately knows. She
know.
came in the other night late on Saturday,
Yeah.
and I had another football game, and we were going to eat dinner, and she said, not another one.
I leave the room and there's one football game on, and then I go in the kitchen and I come back and there's a whole different team playing. And I said, does this ever end?
Tried
It's
to
just
explain
one goes
it
into
was
the other, into
BYU
the
and
other.
Houston late because Houston had to upset BYU to get Colorado
But it's
in the
always
playoffs. I
another.
tried to
Oh, this
explain,
is
she didn't
every
get it.
time I walk in, it's
Okay.
like, who's this? Oh, this is the team
right.
that's whatever. It's always a big deal.
Okay, so without looking at the NBA or the college football schedule, 2 months in advance, I said, done.
Right.
You want to see Jackson Brown? We're going to see Jackson Brown. It was up in Hollywood at a theater at Hollywood and Vine. I said, we are there, no questions asked. I closed my eyes, I plunged.
Right.
So then 2 months passed, and all of a sudden it's upon us, and I said, okay, we ready to go on Saturday
Right.
night? And I still hadn't even checked the schedule and let it sink in just how much of a sacrifice it was going to be for me.
Right.
And then I read the sort of itinerary of the night
Yeah.
off the
This
program.
is the clincher.
To her. And it was a big program featuring the center, in which there was an hour-long presentation about the center ahead of Jackson Brown.
Cocktail party.
And there was a cocktail party, and there was also a comedian on before
right,
Jackson
comedian,
Brown.
and then a fundraiser
Yeah.
tape video deck. All
the-
I
the
wanted to
kids were
do
gonna
was
be
to
there,
see
and they were gonna
Jackson Brown.
sing.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to see
Okay.
Jackson Brown. So he's doing his stuff, watching
Okay,
games, whatever.
So I realized by about Thursday, oh my God, Denver is at Lakers. So we got Nuggets at
Right.
Lakers. That's going to be threatened. And obviously I went to Vanderbilt, so I graduated from Vanderbilt. They're playing at LSU.
Right.
And my school that I grew up loving, University of Oklahoma, as you well know, they're playing at home against Alabama. So all these games, I'm just going to have to cash out of all of them, although we decided we would take an Uber to the
Right.
event so I didn't have to drive, so I could watch Oklahoma on my YouTube TV on my
Right,
phone.
right.
And
And it's
Then we-
not in a great area, so of course, you know, it's right where the Hollywood Walk of Fame is, and I was down there in the daylight, and in the daylight, it's not a great area, and this was going to be night, and I said, I don't want to wait for an Uber car, so maybe we can get a car service to
so
pick
she
us
got
up.
a car
I get
service to pick us up at 10 o'clock.
10
'cause
o'clock
it's supposed
at
to go
night.
from 7 until 10, right?
But what happens is you were doing your watching games, posting videos, doing whatever, and I said, you know, maybe I'm going to take a nap in the meantime, just so because I just wanted to just zone out for a little bit, and then when I woke up, I was so tired, and then I'm thinking, do we want to go to a cocktail party, a fundraiser hour, a comedian? All I want to do is see Jackson Brown. So I wasn't in the best of
Look him
moods,
up.
and yeah, he's great. I was in the best of moods, and when Skip came in to say to me, we have an hour, can you get done in an hour? I said, listen, all I want to do is see Jackson Brown. I don't want to go to a cocktail party. I don't want to go to a dinner. I don't want to go, I go through the whole thing. All I want to see is Jackson Brown. Skip says, we can't do that. We have to go to every single
Okay.
thing. I gave my word.
So the dress is business casual, so we don't dress up that much, but we walk in the door to the theater at Hollywood and Vine, and it's a madhouse of people dressed for like New Year's
Like a
Eve.
prom versus New Year's Eve. It was crazy.
It was crushed with people. There must have been, I don't know, 400 or 500 people. It looked like
Because they
crammed
had,
into
they
this
were,
theater.
I guess they were selling tickets because Jackson Brown's poster was outside of the theater.
So on the way, I'm watching my school, Oklahoma, that I grew up loving, just beat the hell out of Alabama. Vanderbilt had already beaten Alabama, so both Oklahoma and Vanderbilt beat Alabama in the same year. And I'm actually tweeting off my phone
I remember.
in the Uber
I
on
remember.
the way. Right?
I remember, yes.
Okay, but I give up the end of the game. I give up Vanderbilt at LSU. We hung in for a while. And yet, when we walk in the door, it's such a madhouse of people. I don't love it because we're going to have to be at a table. It was a dinner.
Yeah, they
served a
open up
dinner.
the doors, and it was like if you ever saw the movie Dirty Dancing, where they have 1,000 tables in a banquet room.
Yeah.
It's 10 people to a table,
And
and
they
they're
jam the
jamming them
tables
in.
in.
And then I look over, and the waiters have KN95 masks, and I had just gotten over COVID for the first time. I never got it before, and I
Yeah.
don't want to get it again if I don't have to. So I'm freaking out because I don't have a mask. Well, I did have a mask on me, but I didn't want to put a mask on going to see Jackson Brown, and we were going to sit. They gave us the best table in the house.
We were right up against
on
the stage. So if we went and sat
we could
with
never
about
leave.
10 other people at a
Right.
table, we were going to be trapped for the
Right.
night. And I realized, oh my God, I'm going to have to talk sports with a lot of these
Right.
people who I don't know, which I don't love. And I hate having to talk across the table. It's my pet peeve, which she's great at it. I'm not.
And all I want to do is see Jackson Brown.
She
And I'm
just
sure
wants to
these
see
people
Jackson
don't
Brown.
even care about Jackson Brown, so I wouldn't even end up hearing him sing. I mean, I'm so close to Jackson Brown, I could touch him, but I still can't see Jackson Brown. So after 2 minutes, we open the door, we see the flood of people in there, KN95 masks. The waiters are carrying dishes above their head because there's so many people, they're jammed like a wedding. I look at Skip and I said to him, let's just sit out in the lobby by the bar until Jackson comes on at 9 p.m.
Right.
I go, oh no, it's 7 p.m. We have 2 hours to go. I said, why don't you
still
just
trying to
watch your
watch my
games
phone.
until
Yeah.
then? So we sit out by the bar, and then waiters are coming over
what-
talking to him about
about
sports,
LeBron. They want to
about
ask me about LeBron. Yep.
And then finally, I said to him, this is crazy. And he said, do you want to go? And I was like, yeah, I want to go. I want to see Jackson Brown. I've always wanted to see, but now I can't see Jackson Brown. So we walk out. I call an Uber, and I've never had this happen before. The Uber was within 0 seconds
0
because they
seconds,
had just
just
dropped
on
somebody
top of
off.
us. Yeah.
And the best part for me was I looked down, and I'm a big music fan. I'm standing on Luther Vandross's Star. And so I said, wait, don't get in the Uber. I have to take a picture. So that was the highlight for
That
me
was the highlight
of
the
the
night. You
evening.
got
I still didn't
Luther
get to see
Vandross
Jackson
instead
Brown.
of Jackson Brown.
Right.
Okay. So we get in the Uber just in time for me to see the end of the Oklahoma game.
Right.
And I'm out of my mind because that was the only good game we played really the whole year. And I thought, we've turned the corner. And then we go to LSU this past Saturday and we don't turn the corner. They turned on us. But the point was, now I'm thinking, I'm going to make it home in time for the entire Laker game.
Right.
And so she's going to be forced to watch basketball
Right.
through
Then
the
I get
night.
to watch the Lakers game.
Yeah.
Instead of
So
Jackson Brown.
That's exactly right. But we got home by
10 after 7.
10 after.
Yeah.
No,
It
we
was
got
like-
there just before 7.
We got there 10 of 7. We
Okay.
got the Uber car like at 7. And
Okay.
then we got back at 10 after 7. And Hazel, who normally flips out when we leave because she doesn't want to be alone, she didn't even have time to realize we were gone. And we walked in the house and she wasn't even aware that we were walking in. She was like, what are
true.
you doing here so fast?